Shall we start our lecture? So once again, we will discuss this ABC costing. Once again, we will discuss this activity based costing from concept. Activity based costing. In any manufacturing or in any service industry, they may incur two types of cost. Like cost is segregated into two types. One is direct cost, another one is indirect cost. We may term this as special cost. We are incurring specially for producing that particular product. Like there are three products A, B, C. These are the products. We are incurring ingredients. We are incurring ingredients for preparing this ABC product. For A, X is required. For B, Y is required. For C, Z is required as a raw material. Now, whatever amount of expenses we incurred on purchasing the raw material X will be given to which product, Nana? Product A. For example, I incurred 10 rupees for purchasing ingredient X. Now I will give this entire 10 rupees to whom? A. For example, I incurred 20 rupees for purchasing Y. Then I am directly giving this entire 20 rupees to whom? B. Why? Because B is the sole product who is consuming product, that raw material Y. So this is direct cost. For direct cost, like there are direct costs like direct material, direct labor, direct expenses. We will allocate this direct expenses directly to the cost object. We will allocate this direct expenses directly to the cost object without using any cost driver. We are not apportionating, we are not sharing, we are just allocating directly to the whom? Cost object. Now what is cost object? What is cost object? A cost object is a product, or it is a service, or it may be a department, or it may be a division, or anything which requires cost measurement, or nothing but for which we are calculating the cost is nothing but cost object. For which we are calculating the cost is nothing but cost object. For example, if I am calculating the cost for one student in this class, my cost object is that particular student. If I am calculating the cost for entire this room, then my cost object is entire this room. If I am preparing a cost sheet for entire this building, my cost object is this building is my cost object. Or for example, if I am calculating cost or preparing a cost sheet for entire shikharatutorials, then shikharatutorials is my cost object, for which we are measuring the cost, that is our cost object. Cost object is a cost object. It is a person, product, or department which require cost measurement. So for all direct expenses, what we will do? We will directly allocate to the cost object. That's it. Now we have some of indirect expenses. In any industry, we may incur both direct expenses as well as indirect expenses. We don't have any problem with the direct expenses. The allocation or allotment of these direct expenses to cost objects is same in any method. If you use ABC costing or if you use this traditional costing method, it will be same. But the problem will come at this indirect cost. What are the indirect cost? We have like rent, salaries, next stationery, next general expenses, like this. These are all our indirect expenses. It is termed as overheads. Now we have to apportion. For direct expenses, what we will use? We will use allocation. We will allocate the direct expenses. But when it comes to indirect expenses, what we will do? We will apportion the indirect expenses. My request is to those guys, come forward with your books. Hey, come forward, Ray. Till completion of concept, close your books. Just listen to me what I am saying. Try to grab it. Try to understand the logic behind it. For direct expenses, whatever direct expenses, we will allocate to whom? Cost objects. We will use the word allocation. For indirect expenses, we are not directly allocating to the cost objects. We are using some cost drivers. We are using some cost drivers to apportion the indirect expenses to whom? Cost object. Here we use the word apportion. We will apportion the indirect expenses, nothing but share. We will share the indirect expenses to whom? Cost objects. Here it is apportion. So we don't have any problem for allocating the direct expenses. If you use the traditional costing method or if you use the ABC costing method, the treatment will be same. But when it comes to indirect cost, we have to apportion. For apportioning this indirect cost, we have two methods. One is traditional costing. Another one is ABC costing. One is traditional costing, another one is activity based. This traditional costing method is volume based allocation. As per traditional costing, it will treat all expenses in the same way. You incur rent, you incur salaries, you incur general expenses, or you incur blah blah blah. But the treatment will be same. For any type of expenses under traditional costing system, the treatment will be same. It will use single cost driver to allocate all expenses. It won't segregate the expenses like rent, salaries, general expenses, blah blah blah. It will treat all these expenses as overheads. The name itself, it is overheads. The traditional costing system don't want the this segregation or division of expenses like salaries, rent. It will treat all indirect expenses in same manner. It will use single cost driver to apportion the all expenses. Here it will use one recovery rate. I think you know the formula for recovery rate in overheads. What is the formula for recovery rate? Budgeted overhead divided by budgeted base. Budgeted base. Here the base may be anything. It may be labor hours, it may be mission hours, it may be units, or it may be direct material, or volume of direct material, or value of direct material. What is this difference between volume and value? Volume means in units, value means in rupees. Here this traditional costing system will allocate all the expenses to products A, B, C using single cost driver, that is labor hours, mission hours, or units. That means it is treating like, for example, let assume traditional costing system is using labor hours as a base for apportioning these indirect expenses. That means all the indirect expenses whatever we incurred for the purpose of labors. The meaning itself, if you are dividing this indirect expenses to cost objects on the basis of labor hours, that means the meaning itself, it is saying like all the expenses whatever you incurred as the overheads are for the purpose of labors. For example, if you are dividing on the basis of mission hours, then the meaning is whatever expenses you incur for the purpose of missions. But rent we incurred for the purpose of space. Salaries is for the purpose of indirect employees. Stationery is for the purpose of like paperworks. But here you are treating this all expenses for the purpose of whom? Missions. Is it correct treatment? No. Now I will tell you one example. Like our shikharatutorials is giving two types of classes. One is online, another one is offline. Shikharatutorials is giving two types of classes. One is online, another one is offline. It incurred two types of expenses. In offline we have 20, in online we have 25 students. In offline we have 30 students. In total we have how many? 55. Shikharatutorials is one of the name it as one of the company service industry. In service industry or in manufacturing industry, we incur two types of expenses. One is direct expenses like books, For books, we incurred 55,000. For books, we incurred how much? 55,000. Next, another direct expenses is like faculty cost. For faculty, we incurred another 1,10,000. For books, these are direct expenses. For direct expenses like books, we incurred 55,000. Books will be same for all. They may be offline students or it may be online students. The books will be same. Faculty, I am teaching for offline students as well as online students. The faculty cost will also be same for both offline and online. Next, indirect expenses are there. Indirect expenses like rent. Rent is 20,000. Next, salaries. Salaries of whom? Coordinators. They are indirect indirect employees. They are permanent employees in the organization. They are not charging on the basis of batch, or they are not charging on the basis of hours. Their income is monthly basis. If you are in this class, if one member is also there, this particular shikharatutorials has to pay the salaries to coordinator. Next, salaries are like 10,000. Next, watchman. $5,000. Next, IT and tech. Information technology. Like for online students, we need one application, we need one app. So for this, we incurred 20,000. Next, postal charges, like 10,000. These are indirect expenses we have. Now tell me, what is the total indirect expenses? 20,000 plus 10,000, 30, 35, 55, 65. As per traditional costing system, what this traditional costing system will do is, first it will allocate the direct expenses. First, books. What is the amount? 55,000. We incurred 55,000 for how many students? 55 students. That means for 25 students it is how much? 25,000. Am I correct? For offline students it is 30,000. Next, this is for books. Next, faculty. Now we incurred how much? 1,10,000 for how many students? 55 students. For online students it is 50,000. For offline students it is 60,000. If you use traditional costing or if you use ABC costing, the treatment of direct expenses will be same. Now, as per traditional costing system, what this will do is, it won't consider the expenses. It will consider all indirect expenses as overheads. Now, how much amount of overheads we incurred? 65,000. In total overheads we incurred is 65,000. For how many students? 55 students. Each student will get a share of how much? For each student we have to share how much amount of expenses? 65,000 divided by 55,000. 1,181. That's it now for each student. Now in online, how many students we have? 25 into 25. 545. That's it now. For offline, how many students we have? 30. 30 into 1,181. 35,455. 430. 455. Correct. This must be equals to 65,000 na. If you add overheads of online, overheads of offline, it must be equals to 65,000. Now if you see, we are sharing rent, salaries and watchman expenses to whom? Online students. Does online students consume any rent? They are not using any space. Does online students consume any type of salaries? Coordinator support is required for online students? No. Watchman salaries? Not required. But even these online students are not consuming, but we are sharing the overheads of rent, salaries and watchman expenses. To whom? Online students. Is it correct treatment? No, no. By using the traditional costing system, we are not getting the accurate cost. Next, for example, if we use, this is according to traditional costing system. If we use this, what one? Activity based costing system, the rent, salaries and watchman expenses are belongs to whom? Offline students. And IT and tech and postal charges. Postal charges is for sending the books to online students. That 30,000 will goes to whom? Online students. And this 35,000 will goes to whom? Offline students. For online students it is 30,000 according to which one? Activity based costing. For offline students it is 35,000. So this is the drawback of traditional costing system. Traditional costing system will use only single overhead rate for treating the all expenses. That means it will treat all expenses in same way. Like I already said to you that there is one RMP doctor in my village who will treat in the same way for all diseases. He will give, he only knows one tablet, that is Dolo 650. He will give the Dolo 650 and diclo injection for all types of diseases. That is traditional costing system. That is like operation success, patient died, and go on search for another patient. Now I will explain with another example. Like there is two products, product A and product B. Direct material cost for product A is 15 lakhs. For product B is 25 lakhs. So total direct material expenses is 40 lakhs. And overheads, direct material is separate cost, but overheads is a common cost. So we incurred a overheads of in total 45 lakhs, or take it as 60 lakhs. We incurred overheads of how much? 60 lakhs. In that particular company, there is a practice that overheads are apportioned to the products on the basis of direct material cost. In the industry, there is a practice that these overheads are apportioned to the which one? Products on the basis of which one? On a direct material cost. Now, the 60 lakhs are to be apportioned to A. How it is going to apportion? 60 lakhs divided by 40 lakhs into 15 lakhs. 22.5 lakhs. Next, for B, 60 lakhs divided by 40 lakhs into 25 lakhs. That is how much? 37.5 lakhs. Now A will get a share of how much? 22.5 lakhs, 37.5 lakhs. This 60 lakhs consists of rent, power, mission expenses, setup expenses, order receiving expenses, like that. For example, if B product is consuming more space, more mission hours, as well as like B is a mission oriented or automated product, it will consume more amount of space for missions, it will consume more amount of power, as well as it receives more orders. Then this 37.5 lakhs is also not sufficient for B. It is also less amount of share for the B. For example, A is a direct product. It is not consuming high amount of time and it is not consuming more amount of space. Then this 22.5 lakhs is also more amount of share for the whom? A. in next year what happened, there is a some cost reduction is happened. They does some re-engineering work in the industry. Due to that reason, or they collaborated with the suppliers. Due to that reason, what happened, the material cost of B is decreased to 20 lakhs, from 25 lakhs to 20 lakhs. Like, due to collaboration with suppliers, we went with a MOU with the suppliers that I will purchase the raw materials from you only. Whatever I required for producing the B, the entire materials I will purchase from whom? You only. Due to that reason, the material cost of B from 25 lakhs to, it is decreased from 25 lakhs to 20 lakhs. Material cost is decreased from 25 lakhs to 20 lakhs. Now what happened? There is no change in A, but there is a some little change in B. Due to, like, now B is decreased from 25 to 20. Now total material expenses will become how much? 35 na? Now there is no change in overheads. The overheads is same, like 60 lakhs. Now what is the share? For A, it is 60 lakhs divided by 35 lakhs into 15. How much? 25.7 lakhs. For B, divided by 35 into 20. How much? 34.3 lakhs. Now the share of A and B. Now A is 25.7 lakhs. For B it is 34.3 lakhs. Am I correct? Now if you see, does A product did anything wrong? Did it produce more units? Did it change its production strategies? No. But without doing nothing, like 5-star, eat 5-star, do nothing, but its overheads are increased from 22.5 lakhs to 25.7 lakhs. Without doing anything, it doesn't change its production strategies, it doesn't change its consumption pattern, it doesn't produce more number of products. Even if its cost of overheads is increased from 22.5 lakhs to 25.7 lakhs. This is the drawback of traditional costing system. Okay, that is the reason we introduced a modern system called activity based costing system to apportion the indirect expenses properly. We introduced a new system called activity based costing system for apportionment of what, Nana? Indirect expenses. Now what is activity based costing system? In traditional costing system, we use only one cost driver to apportion all indirect expenses. For all overheads, we use only one cost driver, like direct material, direct labor, mission hours, or number of units. But in activity based costing system, we use more number of cost drivers. For each type of expense, we use one different cost driver. For different type of expenses, for different type of overheads, we use different type of cost drivers for apportioning the what? Apportioning overheads to which? Overheads to cost objects. Now, as per activity based costing system, it will say products would consume the cost. As per activity based costing system, what it will say? products won't consume the cost. According to ABC costing, product won't consume cost. It consume what? Activities. Products won't directly consume the cost. It consume what? Activities. Activities will consume the cost. Products won't directly consume the cost. It consume the activities. Activities will consume the resources. For resources we have to incur cost. Activities will consume resources. For resources we have to pay cost. That means first we have to find the cost as well as resources. For what purpose we incur the cost. Then after finding the resources, we have to link the resources to activities. For which activity we are consuming this resource. For which type of activity we are consuming the resource. After linking the resources with activities, find the cost of the activity. Find the cost of activity. That is nothing but cost pool. The cost of activity is nothing but cost pool. What is cost pool? Grouping the expenses incurred for the activity. Grouping the expenses incurred for the activity is known as cost pool. After finding the cost of the activity, using activity cost driver, apportion the activity cost to the cost objects. First find the cost, next find the resources and link the cost to the resources. Next find the activities and link the resources with the activities. Like for which activity we are consuming these resources, like labor or like stationery or like salaries, anything. Link the resources to activities. For which purpose we are using these resources. For each activity we are using the these resources. After linking the resources with whom? Activities. Find the cost object. Now apportion this cost of the activity. Apportion this total cost of the activity to whom? Cost object, using resource, not resource cost driver, activity cost driver. Activity based costing will work like this. First we incur expenses. Now what is an activity? First tell me, what is an activity? Work. So activity is nothing but a aggregate of tasks or aggregate of jobs performed for achieving our objective or a goal. Now activity includes lot of tasks, lot of jobs. For performing one activity we may incur lot of expenses. We incur lot of expenses for single activity. For example, it is a customer order processing. Take example like customer order processing. That means customer will come and he will order something, you have to process the order. Like I am working in a KFC. One customer came to me and asked to give French fries. Now what I have to do? I have to enter it in system. I have to enable the this chef for making the French fries. Now I need to incur lot of expenses like system expenses. I need some resources like system, Next, that chef, receptionist, like one software also I need. So for resources I have to incur cost na. For performing one activity I have to incur lot of expenses. There may be a different types of expenses. It is impossible to apportion all the expenses to directly to the cost object. It is impossible to apportion all type of expenses to whom cost object. That's why what I will do, I will first find out the expense, then I will group all expenses according to the activities. First I will find expenses, then I will group it according to the activities. Now I incurred expenses using resource cost driver. Cost driver using resource cost driver. This resource cost driver is used to group the expenses according to the activity. Using resource cost driver, I am grouping as activity cost. This is nothing but cost pool. In swimming pool, we may have group of water, but in cost pool, we may have group of expenses of the activity. Next, using resource cost driver, we are grouping the all expenses to activity cost. After finding the activity cost, what we will do? We will allocate or apportion this activity cost to whom? Cost to object. Using which cost driver? Activity cost driver. Rational costing system is a volume based allocation, like number of mission hours, number of labor hours, number of units. But this is a which one? Cost driver allocation, cost driver based allocation. For each and every cost, for each and every type of overhead, we use one separate cost driver for allocation. Like for electricity, we may use number of switch points. For space, we use square feet. For salaries, we use time spent. Like this. Now I have one doubt. What is the difference between wages and salaries? Wages are paid. Wages are paid daily or weekly. Who said to you, Ray? This logic. Wages are paid daily or weekly. Next, salaries are paid monthly or only monthly or quarterly. That is absolutely wrong. That logic is absolutely wrong. Wages is paid to direct labor. Wages is paid to direct labor. Now who is direct labor? The person who is directly engaged in the production. The person who is directly engaged in the production. For those persons, whatever amount we paid is nothing but wages. If you pay daily or if you pay monthly or if you pay weekly, it is wages only. Okay, don't take like wages are paid daily, salaries are paid monthly. This is not, this is absolutely perfectly wrong. The wages are paid to direct labor, salaries are paid to indirect labor. So indirect labor is the persons who are supporting staff for the production, like who are working in office and administration, selling and distribution, like our coordinators. They are not directly engaged in production. Here production means giving services to you, like a faculty. Now I am charging on hourly basis. I may charge on batch wise, or I may charge on the basis of monthly as well. If I take monthly or if I take hourly or if I take like batch wise, my amount is termed as wages only. Wages is the amount paid to direct labor. Now who is the direct labor? The person who is directly engaged in the production process. That's why we are calling it as direct labor. Next, what is salaries? Salaries is the amount paid to indirect labor who is working in office and administration or selling and distribution. Those are the persons who are not directly engaged in the production. They indirectly help the production to run smoothly. Now, activity based costing work on the principle like products won't consume the cost, it consume the activities. Products consume the activities and activities will consume the resources. For resources we have to pay the cost. Now I will explain some terminology in the activity based costing. First, activity. What is activity? Activity is nothing but a closely aggregate of closely related tasks performing for achieving the similar objective or a goal, like customer order processing, order receiving, setup, mission oriented activities. These are all some of the examples of activity. Mission oriented activity. For mission oriented activity we require some amount of time as well as some amount of indirect materials like grease, power. For all these expenses we will group it together like a mission expenses. For example, I have one car. For running my car I need lot of expenses, like I have to pay toll charges, I have to pay fuel expenses, I have to pay driver expenses, next service expenses. This all will come under one head, that is nothing but car expenses. Okay, that is car activity is one. Car is an activity. For this we need to incur lot of expenses. I will group it together, then this will term as cost pool. Now after finding the cost of an activity, after finding the cost pool, I will apportion to the whom cost object. Now another one is resource. What is resource? Resource is a thing which help to perform the activity. For performing activity we need some resources, we need some items. That items are known as resources. For customer order processing we need laptop, we need telephone, we need one receptionist. These are all called resources. Next, what is the cost? Whatever amount we paid for consuming the resource, whatever amount we paid for resources is nothing but cost. Next, cost object. Cost object, it may be a person, it may be a department, or it may be a any company which require cost measurement, or nothing but in simple words, cost object is nothing but for which we are calculating the cost. Cost driver. Cost driver is the basis for sharing the indirect expenses to cost object. Cost driver is the basis for sharing the cost of activity, cost of an activity to whom cost object. There are two types of cost objects, sorry, cost drivers. One is resource cost driver. Where we use this resource cost driver? Resource cost driver are used to group the expenses to cost pool. Next, another one is there which is activity cost driver. Where we use this activity cost driver? Activity cost drivers are used to apportion the cost of an activity to whom cost object. This resource cost driver is used to pool the expenses, group the expenses. After grouping the expenses we use activity cost driver to segregate or share this group of expenses to whom cost object. This is all about activity based costing. Any new system like activity based costing will come into presence, will come into existence only when there is loopholes in the existing system like traditional costing system. What is the loopholes? It is using single blanket rate, it is using single basis for apportioning all the overheads. Like in traditional costing system it is going with the assumption that all the overheads are incurring for that one purpose only. But in a growing world, in a manufacturing or service sector, that assumption is not correct, and it is not giving the accurate cost. What is costing? What is costing? What is the meaning of costing? In first class only I said to you. Then what about cost? What about cost? Cost is nothing but amount of resources consumed for producing a product or rendering a service. It may be a monetary expenses, non-monetary expenses, financial expenses, non-financial expenses. Cost is the amount. Cost is an amount of resources consumed for producing a product or rendering a service. Like we already incurred the cost now. Now what is our duty? Find the cost. Calculating the cost. Finding the cost is nothing but cost. Finding the cost is nothing but costing, or calculating the cost is nothing but costing. Now we have to calculate the cost. For calculating the cost, we may incur lot of expenses like direct and indirect. Now this traditional costing system and activity based costing system, what these systems will do? This will help to find the cost or calculate the cost, accurate cost. This activity based costing system or traditional costing system is used to find the cost of a product or cost of a service. But traditional costing system have lot of drawbacks. It failed to calculate the accurate and correct cost whenever we have multiple products. If there is only single product, the answer under traditional costing system, under the cost under activity based costing system will be same. Why? Because whatever cost we are incurring for the purpose of that one only. For example, I am producing this bottle. Whatever expenses, it may be direct expenses or it may be indirect expenses, I will incur for the purpose of this bottle only. Along with this bottle, I am producing another 2 types of bottles. Along with this bottle, I am producing another 2 types of bottles. Then I may incur different type of expenses for this bottle. Like this is steel bottle, I will incur different types of expenses for steel. I have another product like plastic bottles. For producing plastic bottle, the process will be little less. I may consume little low amount of time, low amount of machinery time. Then the process as well as production strategies are different. Due to that reason, for this the cost will be high. For plastic bottle, the cost will be low. So traditional costing system is fail in giving the accurate cost whenever we have multiple products. And traditional costing system will not follow the cause and effect relationship. It will not follow cause and effect relation. What is cause and effect relationship? This is not treating the expenses. Whatever expenses we incur according to the expense, according to the type of expense we incurred. Like it is not giving the treatment for different treatment for different expenses. It is giving same treatment for all expenses. I hope you understand the concept. Next, we will move on to problems. After completing the problem, I will explain the like merits, demerits. I think you already got the merits and demerits. After completing the all problems, I will explain this merits and demerits. Illustration 14. Illustration 14. C Limited manufactures 4 products: W, X, Y, Z. Output and cost data for the period just ended are as follows. Now they given products, 4 products with their output, as well as they given material cost, they given labor cost per unit. Labor cost per unit is 50, 60, 100, 75, and as well as they given the machine time per unit. Per unit they are giving mission time. Next, they given the cost drivers data, number of setups, number of purchase orders, number of material handle. The following are the overhead cost. Setup cost 9,000, purchase ordering cost 10,400. Next, handling cost 6,000, other factory cost 1,27,000. Total overhead cost is 1,52,400. Now what we have to do? We have to find the factory cost. We have to find the factory cost using activity based costing system. Now I am introducing another some points for this question, like labor hours. Labor hours are 5, 6, 10, 7.5. 5, 6, 10, 7.5. Next, here they given, okay, presently overhead costs are charged to the products on the basis of mission hours, then there is no need of labor hours. Okay, here they are currently they are using which system, Nana? Traditional costing system. On what basis they are charging overhead? Mission hour basis. Cost statement under which system? Traditional costing system. Now particulars W, X, Y and Z. Stop writing. So for every chapter, for every new concept, for first 2-3 problems, listen carefully. After understanding the application, then write along with me. For first 2-3 problems, listen what I am doing for the question, how I am understanding the question, how I am applying the question, how like application. Now first, direct material. So first understand what he asked in the question. The cost statement under traditional and ABC. He asked just cost statement. He didn't ask cost per unit. Okay, you can ultimately calculate the cost per unit. After calculating the total cost, if you divide with the number of units, you will get the cost per unit. Direct material. Now W is how many units? For W, how many units it is? 3000. Am I correct? Next, for X 500, for Y 300, for Z 1000. Now what is the material cost per unit? 50. Raw material cost 50. 50 into 3000, 1,50,000. Next, for X 70 into 500, 35,000. Next, for Y 48,000. For Z 1,80,000. Next, direct labor. How many members are not having calculators here? Next, direct labor. What is the direct labor cost? 50 rupees per unit. 50 into 3000, that is 1,50,000. Next, 13 like 60 into 500, 30,000. 30,000, 75,000. Now if you add direct material and direct labor, you will get prime cost. How much it is? 3 lakhs 65,000, 78,000, 2 lakhs 55,000. 2,55,000, right? Next, overheads. Overheads. Here, as per traditional costing system, we are not segregating overheads. We are taking all expenses as overheads only. Now, overheads are charged on which basis? Mission hour basis. Now, tell me how many mission hours we have. That is working note number 1. Now, here they given mission hours per unit. Don't take this mission hours directly per unit. We have to take total mission hours for allocating the all overheads. Don't take per unit mission hours directly. Calculate total mission hours. Here we are taking half an hour per unit. How many units we produce? 3000. Now working note number 1. Calculation of total mission hours. First, which product? W. For W, how many units we produce? 3000 into how many hours? 0.5. That comes to 1500. Next, X 500 into 0.5, 250. Next, Y 300 into 2, 600. For Z 1000 into, that is 4000. Now total how many mission hours? 6350. This is total mission hours we have. As per traditional costing system, our assumption is that whatever total overheads we have, how much of total overheads we have? 1,52,400. This entire 1,52,400 rupees of expenses are incurred for 6,350 mission hours. That is the assumption under traditional costing system. Now we have to calculate the recovery rate. is equals to budgeted overheads divided by mission hours. Here we are taking budgeted base as mission hours only. Next, 1,52,400 divided by 6,350. It comes to 24. 24 rupees is our recovery rate per hour. That means whatever product which is consuming 1 mission hour, we have to recover 24 rupees per mission hour. If there is a product called W which is consuming 10 mission hours, then we have to give cost of 240 to the product W. Now how many units of W? 3000 units for each. Now 1500 hours na. W consumed how many hours? 1500 hours into per hour how much? 24 rupees. 20, that is 24 into 1500. How much it is? 36,000. Am I correct? Next, X consumed how many hours? 250. 250 into 24. 6,000. Next, Y consumed 600. 600 into 24. 14,400. Next, Z consumed 4,000 into 24. 96,000. If you add this all overheads, if you add all the cost of W, X, Y, Z, then you will get the overall overhead cost, that is 1,52,400. Now we allocated direct cost, we apportioned indirect cost, we have to calculate total cost. Total cost. How much? 3,36,000, 71,000, 92,400, 2,51,000. 3 lakhs, huh? Okay. $3,51,000. Don't use calculators for small calculations. For some persons are there, some students are there who use calculator for 2 plus 2. If your calculator usage is more, then your exam time will be less. You have only 3 hours to perform the exam in examination hall. If you use more amount of time for calculator, then your writing time will be deteriorated. Due to that reason, what will happen? Number of marks you will get will also decrease. మీరు క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ యూజ్ చేయడం ఎక్కువైపోయింది అనుకో, ఏమవుతుంది? క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ యూజ్ చేసుకుంటూనే ఉంటారు, ఎగ్జామ్ రాసే టైం అనేది ఏమైపోతుంది? తగ్గిపోతుంది. ఎగ్జామ్ రాసే టైం తగ్గిపోయింది అనుకో, మీ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ మార్క్స్కి మనం అటెంప్ట్ చేసేదంతా ఏమైపోతుంది? తగ్గిపోతుంది. మీరు ఎవ్రీ సబ్జెక్ట్ పాస్ అవ్వాలంటే ఖచ్చితంగా 80 మార్క్స్ అటెంప్ట్ చేయాలి. 80 మార్క్స్ అటెంప్ట్ చేస్తే విత్ ఎంసీక్యూస్ మీరు పాస్ అయ్యే ఛాన్సెస్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది. మీరు క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ యూజ్ చేసే టైం ఎక్కువ చేసేసారు అనుకో, మీరు అటెంప్ట్ చేసే టైం ఏమైపోతుంది? తగ్గిపోతుంది. సో క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ యూసేజ్ అనేది వీలైనంత వరకు తగ్గించండి. స్మాల్ క్యాలిక్యులేషన్స్ కంతా క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ యూజ్ చేయొద్దండి. అర్థమైందా? నెక్స్ట్, ఎగ్జామినేషన్ హాల్లో నాట్ ఓన్లీ ఫర్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ అకౌంటింగ్, ఏ సబ్జెక్ట్కైనా మీరు మోర్ దాన్ 80 మార్క్స్ అటెంప్ట్ చేసేదానికి ట్రై చేయండి. ఎంసీక్యూస్లో మోర్ దాన్ 20 మార్క్స్కి గెయిన్ చేసేదానికి ట్రై చేయండి. మోర్ దాన్ 20 మార్క్స్ ఎంసీక్యూస్లో వచ్చాయంటే ఈజీగా పాస్ అయ్యే ఛాన్సెస్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటాయి. అది పక్కన దగ్గర చెప్పించుకొని అయినా సరే 20 మార్కులు తెప్పించుకో. ఎంసీక్యూలో మనకేం కావాలా? 20 మార్కులు కావాలి. అర్థమైందా? అప్పుడే మనం పాస్ అయ్యే ఛాన్సెస్ అనేది ఎక్కువ ఉంటుంది. నెక్స్ట్ చాలా మంది చేసే కామన్ మిస్టేక్ ఏమంటే ఇప్పుడు దాకా ఒక క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ వాడతారు. దే విల్ యూజ్ వన్ క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ టిల్ ఎగ్జామ్స్. దే విల్ పర్చేస్ న్యూ క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జామ్స్. దే ప్రాక్టీస్ ఇన్ ద ఓల్డ్ క్యాలిక్యులేటర్ but they will buy another new calculator. Like one bike racer is there, they are practicing, that bike racer is practicing on one bike, but for race, for actual race they purchase a new bike. For adjusting with that new bike he will take some time na, then what will happen, he will lose the race. Like that, don't buy new things before the exam, like pens, calculators, new pads. Okay, next, before examination take good amount of sleep. Before examination at least take 6 to 7 hours of sleep. If you will go with the lack of sleep for examination, your brain will stop function. I personally experienced it. My core subject is costing, but in final examination I failed in costing because of lack of sleep. Only one reason, lack of sleep. I completed all my subjects. I have aggregate also. In group 1 I have 198 marks, but my in costing I got only 16 marks because of lack of sleep. Before that day my confidence level is at that time very peak. I know costing very well. There is nothing in the costing without knowing me. Like that my confidence level is. So I went for second show movie before my examination. So exam gone. After next attempt I turned my 16 into 61. I just reversed it in next attempt. So but for second attempt my confidence level deteriorated and my interest is also decreased. అంటే ఫస్ట్ అటెంప్ట్లో ఉన్నంత ఇంట్రెస్ట్, ఫస్ట్ అటెంప్ట్లో ఉన్నంత కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ అవన్నీ సెకండ్ అటెంప్ట్కి వెళ్ళిపోతాయి అన్నమాట. నా బేసిక్గా చెప్పాలంటే నా సెకండ్ అటెంప్ట్ పడ్డానికి కానీ, నేను ఫైనల్ వచ్చింది 1 year ల్యాగ్ చేయడానికి కానీ మొత్తం కారణం నేనే. నెగ్లిజెన్సు, పోస్ట్పోన్మెంట్ అన్నీ ఇవే. చదివేది వచ్చు, చదివితే అర్థమవుతుంది, మళ్ళీ మళ్ళీ చదవాల్సిన అవసరం కూడా లేదు. బై గాడ్ గ్రేస్ కంప్లీటెడ్. నెక్స్ట్ till now what we did, we calculate the cost under which costing system? Traditional costing system. Now coming into activity based costing system, what is the first thing we have to do? Calculate the cost driver rate. What is the format? Activity, cost driver, volume, rate. Cost driver rate. No. What is the first activity we have? First activity is setup cost. What is the cost? 9,000. What is the cost driver? Number of setups. What is the volume? 80. 18, right. So volume means total number of setups used for all types of products. 18. Then what is the rate? 500. Am I correct? Next. Purchase order. Here 500 per setup. Notations are very, very important. Next. Purchase order. How much? 10,400. Number of orders. How many? 30. 13. 800 per order. Next one is handling cost. 6,000. Number of materials handled. Number of materials handled. How much? 30. That comes to 200. 200 per material. Next. Other factory overheads. How much? 1,27,000. What is the cost driver? What left? We already used number of setups. Here we used already number of setups, purchase orders, material handling. What left? Mission hours. Here we have mission hours, na? That is the cost driver. Mission hours. How many mission hours in total we have? Why question mark? I think someone have question mark faces. Why I am using mission hours here? Here other factory expenses. Here our assumption is like the other factory expenses is relating to mission oriented activity. Mission factory, here it means factory. Factory consists of missionaries only, na? Then what is the base? What is the correct base? Mission hours. That's why I am using mission hours. Or all the cost drivers are we use. Only one cost driver left, that is mission hours. Number of mission hours. How many mission hours we have? 6,350. 20 per mission hour. Next. Calculation of cost or factory cost. Cost under A, B, C costing. Particulars W, X, Y and Z. We already calculated prime cost under which system? Traditional costing system. We can directly use that prime cost here as well. Why? Because prime cost under traditional costing system or ABC costing system will be same. How much it is? It is 3,65,000. 3,65,000. 71,000. Sorry, 78,000 and 2,55,000. 2,55,000. Next, overheads. In traditional costing system, we treated all overheads as same, but in activity based costing system, we will use different rates or different cost drivers for different type of expenses. What is the first activity we have set up? If you see, what is the rate per setup? 500 per setup. Now out of total setups, how many used by this W? 10, 10 into 500, that is 5,000. Per setup it is 500. Per setup it is 500. W consumed how many setups? 10 setups. That means we have to give 5,000 to the whom? W. Next, X used how many setups? 1 setup. 1 into 500, that is 500. Next, for Y how many setups? For Y 2 setups. 2 into 500, 1000. For Z how many setups? 5 into 500, that is 2,500. Next, what is the next cost? Purchase order cost. For purchase order how much it is? 800. For 13 purchase orders we incur 10,400. That means per purchase order it is 800. Out of total 13, how many consumed by A? That is W. 6. 6 into 800 how much? 6 into 800, 4,800. Next, 1 into 800, that is 800. 1 into 800, 800. Next, 5 into 800, 4,000. Next, what is next cost? Material handling cost. For material handle how much? 200. Now out of total materials, how many handled by W? 12. For W we handled 12 types of materials, that is 12 into 200, 2,400. Next, 1 into 200, 200. 2 into 200, 4. Next, 10. I think 15. 15 into 200, 3,000. If you add this all, 12 plus 1 plus 2 plus 15, it must be equals to this 30. If you add this 6 plus 1 plus 1 plus 5, it must be equals to 13. Then only your answer will be correct. Next, finally, other factory cost. Now, how many labor hours we have? Now, 6,350. Next, per machine hour we have to recover how much? 20. Per machine hour we have to recover how much? 20. Now, W consumed how many machine hours? 1500. 1500 into 20, 30,000. 1500 into 20. 1500 into 20, that is 30,000. Correct. Next, X consumed how many? 250. 250 into 20, 5,000. Next, W consumed how much? 600 into 20, 12,000. Next, 4,000 into 20, that is 80,000. Now, calculate total factory cost. How much? $3,42,400. Next, 71,500. $90. $3,44,000. If you compare the results of activity based costing with traditional costing, you can see the differences. You may see the differences that under traditional costing system, the total cost for W is only 3,36,000. But as per activity based costing system, it is 3,42,200, which is accurate. ABC only na. That means you decreased the cost of W by how much? 6,200. But in rational costing system, the cost of X is 71,000. But as per activity based costing system, it is 500. You decreased the cost by how much? 500. Here it is 92,400. Here it is 92,200. Here you increased the cost of 200. For first two products, you decreased the cost. For next two products, you increased the cost. Due to that reason, your costing per unit cost may increase or decrease. There is a variances in your per unit cost. Due to that reason, you may suffer losses. There is a chances of overprice or underprice. If your good is underpriced, you will get the losses. Your good is overpriced, you may lose the demand. Demand is affected by price na. Your price is very high, you may affect with it may affect your demand. If your price is very low, the demand will be high, but ultimately you will get the losses. That is one of the drawbacks of traditional costing system. So the main advantages of activity based costing system is it will follow cause and effect relation. That means it will treat the different expenses at different treatment. For different expenses, it will treat different ways. Now, write down. Copy it.